shot. She's not a mean, hardcore person, and so it's hard to deal with these hard people, street people that she has to deal with.
And this is a very different business to me.
Cindy now passes the long days by corresponding with her ex-husband and her two sisters, who visit occasionally.
All of her letters are very sad. Sometimes I'll go for a day or two without reading because I really get depressed over it.
To this day, Cindy has mixed feelings about the incident. She mourns the loss of her mother, but also feels that she got a raw deal.
She does know that she had a role in her mother's death, although with her personality disorder, she reinterprets this.
I take responsibility that the tragedy happened, but in all overall picture, I do not feel that I am capable of such a horrendous type of an act.
With 10 years to go, Cindy has a long road ahead.
I'm 53 years old now, so if I were to serve the 10 remaining years, 14 year sentence, then I would be about 63 years old.
I hope the remaining years fly by. She's only been in prison for 5 years. I'm not sure she'll survive prison. Should that be the price for killing her mother? Some people say yes. I say no.
But she's sentenced to serve less than half of 30 years. Still a substantial amount of time with some heavy probation at the end of it. It's certainly not out of line with similar decisions in similar cases.
Cindy Countess continues to grieve for her parents and is deeply remorseful.
I would like to have been in a financial position to have paid for my parents to have had 24-a-day private care in their own home. I love them to the point I want to give them a lot more than ever I was able to give them, and that's my biggest regret.
On December 26, 2000, Kathy Kranick's burnt and frozen body was discovered on the side of a dirt road.
She was frozen. There were signs that she had been burned. She was wrapped in a bed sheet from the home.
According to authorities, the evidence pointed to Kathy's daughter, Jennifer Blake, and her boyfriend, Corey Jackson.
She certainly wanted her mother out. She was going to do something to get it back. Jennifer did a horrible act. She put the blame on everybody.
Let me see if I can make one.
Was Jennifer the innocent daughter framed by
I
her
used to
boyfriend,
know how to make
or was she
an
the
airplane.
mastermind behind her mother's violent death? Jennifer Lynn Blake was born on April 4, 1975, in Puerto Rico. 4 years later, her mother Kathy gave birth to Jennifer's brother, Michael.
Pretty much had a good life. We had everything we needed. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor. We went to good schools. Had a good upbringing, honestly.
There was no evidence of any kind of family trouble. They all seemed happy. Kathy was very well loved by everybody. She had a servant's heart. She was very kind.
It's good.
But Michael says there was an undercurrent of tension between the two siblings.
She always had something about her where we just were never real close. Felt like she always held something against me.
Her father, Michael Kranick Sr., was a Navy man and moved the family from state to state as he was assigned to different bases. When Jennifer was 11, the Kranicks settled in Virginia.
We moved a lot. Always moving. We played good people. We spent good life.
For Jennifer, the most painful adjustment was her father's absence when he was asked to sea for months at a time.
When I was growing up, one day my father was home, and one when my mother was home. When my dad was gone, it was tough. My mother was
Jennifer claims her mother, Kathy, tried to choke her until she passed out. She also says when her mother died, Kathy would loan Jennifer out to men for cash.
she allowed some of the men that she cheated on my father with.
Her brother Michael
She lied about it.
I've never heard anything from anybody about Kathy being abusive or your father being probably.
If there's abuse that's long-standing and significant, it can't break the job. People know. By the age of 12, Jennifer and her mother were constantly fighting about the rules of the house.
My mother wasn't strong enough to really put her in place. She had to do the baby more and my mother didn't know that. Sometimes I think she put her hands on my mother.
The problem only escalated when Jennifer became a teenager.
Things are tough for every family. Everybody goes through trials, tribulations. There was nothing to explain why she acted the way she did for me.
Why do you keep dropping your phone?
She's not about stuff that didn't need to be done. She would say whatever it took to get us to do what she wanted you to do.
The situation reached a crisis in the winter of 1990. When Jennifer's father was away on duty, the troubled teen attempted suicide. After Jennifer was released from the hospital, she became more violent towards her mother. But the Kranick household was in turmoil, and Jennifer's parents divorced. The 25-year-old single mother began dating another man and became pregnant. 2 months into her pregnancy, Jennifer met 21-year-old dishwasher Corey Jackson and began a torrid affair.
He liked me from the moment we met. I was engaged and about 2 months pregnant. We ended up having sex. And it was so good that I couldn't leave it alone.
In April 2000, Jennifer gave birth to her second daughter. She then broke up with the baby's father, but continued to date Jackson while living at home.
My sister she wasn't working, and she was using marijuana, alcohol, just running out doing nothing with her life.
To make matters worse, Jennifer started sneaking her boyfriend, Corey Jackson, into her mother's home.
The garage door doesn't lock. The remote of the garage is empty. I said, if you need a more safe place to crash, you can sleep up there. There's a bathroom in the garage. Just get the hell out before she gets up for work in the morning.
She became it for him. He relied on her for housing. I mean, he snuck in a house, I'm told, every night to sleep there.
When Jennifer's mother found out, she was furious.
She, I guess I went out of town, and I let Corey stay like 2 days. And she came home early and caught him in the house when she lived.
Jennifer refused to obey her mother's rules. Pushed to the breaking point, Kathy gave her daughter an eviction notice.
Kathy expressed that she and Jennifer were getting along well. They finally expressed some fear for her own safety. She was distressed that she had to give her 30 days advance notice and was concerned how those 30 days would go, especially once she gave notice to Jennifer.
On Sunday night, according to Corey Jackson's testimony, Corey snuck into the house and found Jennifer distraught.
He finds her crying, and she begins to tell him about the so-called abuse that she says she endured by her mother's boyfriend years ago, and how she had had enough with her mother. And she goes on to sit with him on the bed and plan how to kill her mother.
In 2000, 25-year-old Jennifer Blake, a single mom of two, had moved in with her mother, Kathy Kranick. Alarmed that Jennifer was sneaking her boyfriend in on a nightly basis, Kranick gave her daughter a month's notice to leave.
She had nowhere to go with her children, and she felt like she was going to end up in a shelter.
According to court testimony, Jennifer and her boyfriend, Corey Jackson, then took matters into their own hands. They allegedly devised a plan to kill her mother at dawn, while her two children were asleep.
Early one morning, my mom had got up for work. She went to get showered and dressed. My sister's daughter, Jasmine, she stayed in my mother's bed. They were real close. They were sleeping in the same bed.
The youngest child, Kiani, was asleep in another bedroom when authorities say Jennifer confronted her mother.
Somehow my sister started an argument with my mother and got her into the bathroom. She started to get her on the ground, and then she called for help.
Jennifer approached her and said, I hate you, and they struggled in the bathroom area.
So Corey come into the bathroom and had to hold my mother's feet down while my sister choked her. This whole time, my mom was apparently screaming, saying, Jenny, stop, Jenny, stop. And Jasmine actually woke up and heard it.
They suffocated and strangled her. And to make sure that she was dead, they took her head and they put it in a tub of water to see if there were any bubbles.
Jennifer tells a very different story and denies any role in the murder. She claims her mother was already dead when she woke up.
There's Corey sitting on the counter next to the bathroom sink. And my mom was laying on the floor. She was dead. And Corey claimed to me that my dad had come to the house, got in an argument with my mother, and ended up choking her in the kitchen, and that Corey moved her to the bathroom.
Jennifer admits that instead of calling police, she helped Corey dispose of the body to allegedly protect her father.
Corey told me to go get a trash can, and I did. It was a 17-gallon. Corey claimed that it was to burn her body.
My sister tried to apparently burn the body in the trash can to get rid of the evidence.
He set my mother's body on fire in the garage. There was smoke pouring out of the garage. It was disgusting. It was horrible. It was that thick, black, acrid smoke. It was disgusting.
The garbage can is too small. They can't burn it in the house, so they figured that they better wrap it up in a sheet, put it in the trunk, and drive it somewhere where they could dump it.
According to the police report, the couple was unable to find a place nearby to dump the body. They picked up Jennifer's 7-year-old daughter, Jasmine, from school and drove across the Virginia border at nightfall.
After picking up the child, the mother's in the back of the trunk. They take the mother to rural North Carolina, and they dump Kathy's body on the side of a rural road there.
My sister's child, Jasmine, she testified that she remembers stopping. She remembers my sister and Corey getting out of the car.
After allegedly dumping the body in a ditch, Corey, Jennifer, and the kids checked into a motel.
After that, they were like, we'll come back later when Jasmine's sleeping and actually bury the body, just put her in a ditch at this time. Corey woke her up in the middle of the night, about 3, 4 o'clock in the night, and apparently my sister said she couldn't. I don't know what was going on in her head at that time, but she didn't want to go back and do anything about it. So they just left her the way she was.
Later that week, Jennifer filed a missing persons report, and the police began their investigation.
The sister's final story was my mother was last seen getting in a red car with a friend of hers that she didn't know who it was, and was never seen again.
I remember them asking me, was I responsible for her disappearance? To which I answered no. Did I know where she was at that moment? To which I answered no.
2 weeks after the murder, police found Kathy Kranick's body on the side of the road. Cause of death? Strangulation and suffocation.
She was frozen. You know, there were signs that she had been burned. She was wrapped in a bed sheet from her home.
The police quickly zeroed in on Jennifer and Corey.
Initially, when she talked to detectives, she tried to pin this on the father.
Authorities eliminated Michael Kranick as a suspect and followed the evidence back to Corey and Jennifer.
They tried to bury the body in the garage and left evidence behind. They left evidence on the
Almost a month after Kranick's body was found, police arrested Jennifer and Corey and charged them with first degree murder.
I hid the fact that she had been on vacation. I didn't kill my mom.
In exchange for testimony against Jennifer, Corey Jackson entered into a plea